Alien Romulus has just hit theaters, and it's already making waves. Did this new sequel knock it out of the park, or has this franchise struck out? Let's get into it. Hey everybody, I'm Killjoy Jake, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Alien Romulus is about a group of young space colonizers desperate for an escape from their literally toxic work environment. While scavenging a derelict space station, the crew comes across the most terrifying life form in the galaxy. Getting into a non-spoiler review real quick here, and then we're gonna talk spoilers a little later on, Alien Romulus is sublime storytelling, somehow incorporating elements from nearly everything that has come before it, yet also telling a fresh standalone story simultaneously. Personally, I'm blown away. I've never seen a modern franchise continuation do something so ambitious and execute it as well as this film did. It's inherently a little messy for that reason during a few sequences, but it's nothing that detracts from its overall brilliance. Romulus has me reevaluating the entire Alien franchise, incorporating some surprising elements that I thought were laying dormant in a dead story. This film is the injection of life that this series needed to continue on to bigger and better things. It's easily the best Alien film since '86. Fede Alvarez proves that he's not only honed his craft, but he's an undeniable master of horror. The film is much more fast-paced than the previous Alien flicks and wastes no time getting into the action. Once the mayhem begins, it doesn't stop until the very end. The attention to detail here is phenomenal as well, and the character work is as sharp as a knife. I was blown away especially by David Johnson's performance as Andy, who was a major standout amongst the rest of the cast. I even appreciated a lot of his dad jokes. Kaylee Spaney is another excellent lead in this franchise as well, becoming instantly relatable from the first time we meet her. The whole group is in this position that doesn't feel all too far from reality right now, with a corporation keeping them grounded on a disease-ridden planet. They're desperate for an escape, and it even gets a little emotional in that first act. The film won me over almost immediately for that reason. Just like in the first two films, one of the strongest parts of Romulus is its characters. This film is flat out disgusting too, diving into some creatively gross scenes of body horror that I loved. I heard some early reviewers say this film feels like a Dead Space movie, and I don't disagree. This is an element that I personally enjoyed for being extremely thought out, but I can see how some folks may walk away from this movie feeling like it's too much of a departure from what they've seen in the past. Just like how Aliens incorporated Space Marines into their story, you have to be able to get into the big swings that Fede takes here to really enjoy this one. I see this film becoming severely divisive amongst longtime fans for that reason. This element dominates the third act for a conclusion that feels like the franchise is finally doing something more interesting with one of its weaker aspects. It's really tough to talk about it without spoiling anything, but I was all for it despite a rather weak, design, let's say. There's also some weird looking CGI regarding a certain character and a single sequence at the beginning of the third act that actually should have been cut from the whole film. I don't think this movie is too annoying with the fan service up until you get to that elevator sequence. That sequence alone is why I'm taking away a point from this movie. Take that out and this is a damn near perfect sci-fi horror flick for me personally. Although it has some minor snags, Alien Romulus is a sequel that should be studied. I can't stress enough how impressive this movie's accomplishments are. The good outweighs the bad entirely. The brilliance of this film is that you can watch it without having seen any of the other Alien flicks and have a great time, but if you have seen the other movies, this one is especially sweet. I think Romulus falls into the must-see category of the year, and I highly, highly, highly recommend seeing it in the theaters. Oh my god. We're gonna get into some spoilers for Alien Romulus, so if you haven't seen the film yet, go watch it and then come on back. Spoilers ahead, you have been warned. Like I said a minute ago, Romulus is a crazy ambitious continuation that swings for the fences with the bases loaded. This movie makes me appreciate Prometheus and Covenant so much more than I did before. My rankings of this franchise have been turned upside down after this movie because they finally did something with that stupid plotline running through Prometheus and Covenant that admittedly isn't so stupid anymore. I wanted to scream I was digging the third act so much, showing us a purposeful xenomorph human hybrid as well. They took that setup from Prometheus and Covenant, and admittedly the third act from Resurrection, and made it way better. I might not be crazy about the design overall, as it kind of just looks like the Smile Demon or the Mother from Barbarian, but there are some admittedly creepy moments with the monster. It's also the result of an intense body horror sequence featuring Isabella Merced's character that I really enjoyed. Her baby gets infected with that shit? Oh my god, hell no. This is a big swing, and I can see people getting upset about the lack of Xenos in the third act. I did find myself wishing that we could have seen more of them, but I can't say I wasn't enjoying myself watching watching this lanky terrorize Rain Carradine on that tiny spaceship. I also consider myself to be an Andy apologist. The dude is my favorite character in the whole flick without a doubt. I love that this film tried a different type of relationship between humans and synthetics. Sorry, I mean artificial human. As you'll recall, Ripley isn't super fond of Bishop and aliens after being betrayed by Ash in the first film. Andy was programmed by Rain's fallen father to take care of her, hence a purpose for sitting through those insufferable dad jokes. They might have been annoying at first, but it almost brought me to tears when I found out why they were even in his prime directive in the first place. Superb writing there from Alvarez and Sayegas. David Johnson ate this role as well, swapping between protagonist to secondary antagonist and back to pro. This film also has some of the most inventive sequences in the history of the franchise, making it feel like a great companion piece to those first two flicks. The cream of the crop, if you ask me. I loved freezing the facehugger's tail and then leaving the audience in this momentary lapse of uncertainty regarding Navarro's fate. It might have been spoiled in the trailers and that big red poster, but her death was so cool I didn't even mind. You got to see the little xenomorph baby punching through her ribcage because of that backlight. That's awesome. Some even better sequences were our characters walking through the room at the same temperature of their bodies so they would stay invisible to the facehuggers, and Rain tumultuously traversing xenomorph blood in zero gravity. Holy jumpin' jelly beans, Batman, that was cool. That zero gravity sequence in the elevator, however, should have been cut from the movie. Like, it is completely nonsensical that a xenomorph would catch this character with its tail. And then also, why is David Johnson trying to do the line from Aliens, but way worse? Come on, that's crazy, dude. This might be a hot take, but I didn't mind the way Ash looked. Or should I say, Rook. He looks robotic, and that kind of works with the character. I mean, right? Had they tried to deep fake Ellen Ripley or try to bring back a dead character from Alien, this would have been a much stronger negative. This makes sense given the context of the franchise. There are likely thousands of those bots that look exactly like actor Ian Holm, rest in peace. I can get into this even though it probably should have just been Michael Fassbender, right? Or maybe that would have given away the third act too quickly because of Prometheus and Covenant. I don't know. I thought it was a cool addition overall. I do get why a lot of people are gonna walk away from this one feeling like that was really weird though. It's a tense picture filled to the brim with body horror, desperation, and a pinch of humor. It's everything I could have wanted from a modern Alien sequel, and I really liked it, warts and all. I give Alien Romulus a strong 9 out of 10. Name a more ambitious modern sequel that's this effective. Personally, I can't. This gives a purpose to the last two flicks that I honestly didn't care about before for that exact reason. On top of that, it's a wonderful standalone story that can be enjoyed by newcomers and franchise fans alike. A brilliant sci-fi horror show. Before we wrap up today's review, I'd like to ask you all to please subscribe to my gaming channel, GullGotha. I poop my pants getting way too scared at horror games over there, so make sure to check it out. I need to play Alien Isolation, come to think of it. Also, a massive shout out to the supporters of this page that keep this channel going. I wouldn't be able to make all of these goofy little reviews without you all. Members get to view the exclusive Horror Hot Takes series where I riff on horror movies that Art the Clown patrons suggest. Please consider signing up by clicking on the link in the description below or by pressing the join button on my page. Thank you all again for your support. What did you think of Alien Romulus? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.